Hello and welcome. I am Sandra V, and today I'm reacting to a little clip that I saw of Seth Rogen on Clarkson talking about not wanting to have kids.
Looking to the future years, you've been open about not wanting kids. So is this still a thing?
Okay,
you said hard yes.
I still don't want kids. Yeah.
Hard no, I don't want them. Now, right off the bat, I wanted to talk about comments that this got on Instagram where I originally saw it, and people were saying, "Oh my God, we shouldn't be asking people if they want to have kids." Listen, we all have things in our lives going on that we're sensitive to, right? We all have triggers, and it is literally impossible for us we would just not talk. If we were afraid to possibly offend somebody or hurt somebody or bring up a sensitive topic, or bring up something that somebody thinks maybe isn't somebody else's business, like we would just walk in silence. And maybe some of you would prefer that. I don't know. I like to talk. So just right off the bat, I wanted to talk about that because he has been very open, obviously, about this. And so that's why she's referencing it. It's not like she was interrogating him about this. She was like, so this is something that you talk about a lot. Let's talk about it.
You just never saw yourself as down. You just like your time.
It doesn't seem that fun.
I can see how it seems that way.
Yeah. It really does not, it doesn't seem fun. And most of my friends who are parents, God bless them, spend a lot of their time talking about how much they don't like having kids. And what me and my wife spend a lot of time talking about is how much fun stuff we can do because we don't have kids.
I think that's actually...
That is so funny because it's true. I feel like people talk not about not liking having kids, but like nobody can prepare you. Legitimately, I don't care how prepared you think you are not prepared for how hard and stressful and just being a parent is. I remember, and maybe this is karma, sometimes I feel like my whole life is just like karma lessons. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I felt very prepared to be a mother. I worked in childcare, I worked in pediatrics, I grew up babysitting my cousin's kids, my mom's friends' kids. When I worked in daycare, I would babysit some of those kids. And so I thought like, psh, I got this, all right? I loved being around my cousin's kids. Like when we would have birthday parties and stuff, I'd be at the bounce house with them. I'd be making everybody laugh, playing with them, holding the baby so mom could eat. Like I've always been that person for my friends and my family. You know, when I didn't have kids and I had friends that were having kids, like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you at the park so your kids can play and we can chat, you know, like that just was always me. I loved being around kids. I wasn't prepared because when they're yours, they're not as much fun. That sounds so mean. It's just there's so much more that comes with it. You know, you're constantly worried about their needs, and you're sleep deprived, and you have so much on your plate and so much to do that like you can't enjoy them in the way that you enjoy other people's kids. But it's also good in the way that you enjoy them. I don't want to make it sound all bad because it's not all bad. I love my kids. I enjoy my kids. But there's just that element of stress involved in parenting that's not there when it's other people's kids. So it's complicated.
Yeah.
Pretty rad though, because
Yeah.
I never wanted kids like before I met my ex, and then he had kids, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, and I got to kind of experience it.
That seems like a good version of it.
So then I ended up having kids because then they're so I wouldn't say it's like the most fun job because it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing, and it's like nothing cooler for me. But I will say though, I think it's important because people always used to pressure me about it.
Yeah.
About marriage and about having kids, and like it's like that's not everybody's dream is to do that.
And a lot of people,
I just think it's important you say that.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
I feel like she kind of felt like she was putting that vibe out there. Like she was like talking about like, no, I trust me, it's a beautiful thing. And he's like, okay, I still don't want kids. So she did kind of backpedal and like, we're not about pressuring here. Like I think she really genuinely is just trying to talk about the topic. I think she has ADHD. I haven't looked into that, but she just talks. So I think like she was just talking, getting her thoughts out, and then she's like, I just want to make it clear that like I was that person that didn't want kids, and you know, I'm not trying to pressure you, I'm just talking about the topic.
It's just, they don't even think about it. I know. They
Oh my
just
God,
think
we
you have
call those
kids,
people that have accessories.
Yeah, or they just think that's the next thing you do in life. Is
I
you
know,
have
that's
kids,
what I'm
and then they
saying.
look back and they were like, I didn't have to have kids.
No, my friend was like, that's a person that has a kid as an accessory. And I'm like, that's not, that's a lot of therapy in the waiting. But anyway.
Yeah. But you don't need kids. There's so many kids.
I know, and that's the thing too, yeah. You get...
Who looks at all the kids out there and thinks, I wish there were more kids?
I guess anybody that wants kids.
Yeah, not
But
me.
I think that's cool. And your wife is the same way, right?
She does
Or
not
the
want
same-
kids. No,
Yeah.
we get a lot of, I don't know, I know people describe having kids, as like brief glimmering moments of beauty amongst a sea of pain.
And honestly, that's basically what it is. It is a lot harder than, I don't want to make it sound like I don't love my kids. But when you string together all those beautiful moments and when you have time to enjoy them and sit down and reflect on them, it does make it worth it for somebody like me who does and did always want kids. I mean, there are a lot of things, what do they say? Nothing worth having is easy. So yeah, there's a lot of things worth having and a lot of things that bring something positive to our lives that are fucking hard. And it has a lot of, really bad moments. Even if you think about just relationships. I bet if I asked him, like, is your relationship with your wife always perfect? No, it probably involves a lot of work. And so I just think that's just relationships in general. And, kids are they kind of amplify that.
It kind of, whereas not having kids is just, it's just lovely all the time. There's none of that. It's just great all day. I'm never like, I wish I had kids and I'm missing something by not having them. I more am doing stuff all the time where I look over at my wife and she looks at me and we're like, if we had kids, we couldn't do this.
Yeah.
This wouldn't even remotely be on the table.
Let's be real, Seth Rogen. You probably could do that if you had kids, because I'm not saying that there aren't challenges when you are rich and famous and have children, but like a lot of us are held back. Gosh, this is hard to talk about without sounding mean to my children. A lot of the things we can't do is because we are limited on time and money and resources. I would travel a lot more if I could hire like a traveling nanny or two, because my kids are just that much to deal with. I could still do all the fun stuff that I would do traveling without kids because I had somebody to help me, do that. So I think that for someone like him, honestly, like, it wouldn't be that difficult to still do a lot of fun things and have kids. But maybe I'm wrong. I've never been rich and famous, so I could be wrong.
No, that's
we
why
couldn't do any of this stuff if we had
people with
kids.
kids, that's what we call me time. So we have to carve it out.
All the time is me. Why would I? Why wouldn't it be me time? What?
I
It's
think-
us time. But me and my, we do it together.
I think that's really awesome, and I think it's so cool to not pressure people and enjoy.
No, I
your
think there
life.
should be more voices of that you
Reason?
don't need to have kids. Yeah, you don't need to have kids. Also, like, won't the world not be here in 30 years? So.
Are we all gonna die anyway? Oh my God. Well,
That is actually something I think about. What will the world be like for my kids? People talk about, I think people have always talked about, like, the world is ending. But, one day it's going to happen. So you think about that. Like, did I bring my kids into doom? So I get that. And then Callie's like, well, I do love my children, because when you talk about having kids, like I've been doing this entire video, you're like, oh my God, I just thought I wasn't recording. You do feel like you have to defend yourself because you're talking about the negative side of having kids. And so you don't ever want it to come off like you don't love or appreciate your children. So I got you, Kelly.
I do love my children.
They seem great.
They're great.
They seem lovely.
I'll call you for babies.
Exactly.
You and your wife would love it.
We babysit. Yeah, we hang out. I love my friends' children. Probably more than they do, it seems some of the time.
I don't really have that in my life, unfortunately. I don't really have any friends that are like super involved in my kids' lives, which kind of bums me out for my kids, but that's okay. Everybody's journey is different. I was that for some of my friends, I loved being around their kids, and it probably does seem or feel like you like them more because you don't have to do the ugly stuff that comes with parenting, right? Like anytime in life that there's an experience where you get to enjoy the good and you don't have to like bother with the bad, of course it's going to be more enjoyable or seem more enjoyable on the surface.
You get to play with them hand to back. That's the best. It's like a grandparent or aunt or an uncle. Yeah.
I think there's one part I forgot to stop or talk about. I don't know. But she talked about how it is important to have more voices out there saying like it's okay to not have kids. And I think he's right when he says people kind of get stuck in this like, well, I found my person, I'm married, or I need to find my person and get married because I'm a certain age, and with that comes having kids. I have a friend whose husband got a vasectomy because they just know that they don't want to be parents, which I think is so respectful because I feel like the generation that, you know, we came from, there's a lot of parents who maybe felt like that, but they just did what was expected of them, and now we can be more vocal about that stuff. So yeah, husband got a vasectomy so that they wouldn't have children. And I think that's great that people can acknowledge that and take care of it beforehand. Yeah, I think that we should definitely tell those people how okay it is and not pressure anybody to have kids. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with asking somebody if they want children or if, you know, that's something that they are planning for their future. I know a lot of people disagree with that, and maybe it's because I truly have never had fertility issues or even pregnancy loss. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel because together is a beautiful place to be. Bye.